Both the lockdown of 2020 and the end of my marriage also in the same year were lessons I needed to learn, trials that I had to endure so I could become a bit colder and wiser, especially when it comes to loving and giving. They were harsh lessons that would send me on a journey which would take years, a journey through the dark night of the soul, but it was actually a journey of self-discovery, and along the way I met a diverse variety of characters/people that I would have never met had I stayed trapped in that loveless marriage of mine. Some things are meant to happen and afterwards the writer must write about it and leave behind some sort of testimony, a testimony where he or she is the hero/heroine, or anti-hero/heroine of a real-life tale, and while we make our journey through this book called life we must evolve both as human beings and spiritual beings, learn the lessons that we are meant to learn and evolve, change for the better, and we must even forgive those who have somehow hurt us and sent us towards that journey which we had to take but which we weren't even aware of it, and after forgiving them, sadly as this may sound, no matter how much we used to love them, sometimes, after doing our inner child healing, we have to leave some of those people behind, maybe not forever, maybe we will see them again in the near future, or in a distant future, but while we're healing and evolving we can't be near those who have hurt us, or, if they live nearby, we must somehow find a way of avoiding them for a long time. Browsing through recent notes I found myself traveling back in time, metaphorically speaking of course, I'm not Chance the Time Traveler, more about him later on. To a time where I wanted to write the type of book I'm writing right now but the circumstances, and my laziness, didn't allow me to write. Instead of writing I would spend my time and money going from place to place in search of the same things that I'm searching right now, and some of them I already have, but back then I was really lost and I didn't even know what I was searching for. To say that I was lost is actually an understatement. I was wasting sperm on others, sperm and saliva and words and money, going to places I wish never to return, meeting people I wish never to see, but I was so lonely and lost that I would look for company anywhere. And at the same time I was looking for God, for salvation, praying almost every day, but how can a person find salvation, and God, if we spend our lives lost in the darkness? Now I finally understand that a lot of the time we need isolation so that we can work on ourselves and on our dreams, but it took me decades and a bit of self-therapy for me to finally come to terms with loneliness and isolation. In 1999 I found myself in a cinema seat with a bag of popcorn and a large Pepsi in front of me, and even though the cinema wasn't that full I sat close to a lonely woman, only 3 seats away from her. We were sitting right at the back, middle seats, no one else on the next row of seats. The movie we were watching was Eyes Wide Shut, a film directed by Stanley Kubrick, a director whose movies I both adore, Paths of Glory, Spartacus, The Shining, 2001, A Space Odyssey, one of my favorite movies of all time, and Don't, A Clockwork Orange, Barry Lyndon, a movie that would be the last film directed by Mr. Kubrick as he would die, aged 70, 6 days after showing the final cut of Eyes Wide Shut to Warner Brothers. Throughout the years people have written all sort of rumors about that same movie, going as far as saying that Mr. Kubrick was killed because he knew and was about to show too much to the audience. Some people even went as far as saying that Mr. Kubrick was sharing some of the Invisible Hand's rituals with the world, the sacrifices that the Invisible Hand makes to their fake god. On that evening I didn't see the entire movie. Something happened during the movie, something that, looking back now, was kind of funny and also super scary. Eyes Wide Shut is a long movie, and sometime during the movie the woman that was sitting only a few seats away from me made a soft groaning noise, and when I turned around to look at her I saw that she was touching herself and that her panties were down, around her knees. I saw the darkness and saw her looking at me, eye to eye, daring me to join her. A few seconds passed and she leaned against the seat, still looking at me, pleasing herself, daring me to join her, and because I was lost, so damn lost, I slowly stood up and was about to join her, but just then I felt something grab my left arm, strongly pulling me away from the woman, and I thought that one of the cinema workers had seen us and was about to tell me off and throw us both out of the cinema. But when I turned around I saw no one around me, not a soul, nothing but darkness. I stood there for I don't know how long just looking at the darkness, looking but seeing nothing. The thought of joining that woman was suddenly dissolved. Instead, I made my way out of the cinema, almost running as I left the woman behind, and later, when I found myself alone in a park, I burst into tears. Looking back now, I don't even know what happened on that night, but whatever it was probably a blessing.